where it all started was in 1977. I was 19, and I was a little wimp who wanted a tattoo to establish a sense of self, I guess, and of course to piss my mom off. Oh, she said something like, "I can't believe you're my son." So it worked. Incidentally, I went to, as I found later, the worst tattoo parlor in Toronto. The guy was known to his peers as the Chinaman. But it was the first tattoo parlor that I saw, and I went in and I laid down my $5, and I came out with a little red star that looked pretty much like one of those stamps you get on your hands at an amusement park. And a short time later, I was sitting with my friend and his roommate, who was a guy who spent most of his adult life in jail. And he said, "Hey, you got a tattoo? We used to do those with Dienel's and India ink in the joint. Do you want me to put your nickname in there?" I'm not going to tell you. I'll just leave that. 3 letters, we'll leave it as just a bit of a mystery, okay? And so he did actually a pretty good job. I didn't get hepatitis C or anything like that, oddly enough. With a needle, some thread, and a bottle of black ink. It didn't look too bad at first until it healed, and then it blurred, and so the week or so after it healed, somebody said, "Why did you get a sperm cell tattooed?" Because that's really what it looked like. So I went back to the Chinaman, and I got a black star tattooed over the sperm cell. And there it stayed for years. It still looked like a stamp, but it wasn't really hurting anybody. And then sometime after that, on a whim, I went to a tattoo parlor in Parkdale. And the guy was a big, scary, biker-looking dude. And he addressed me as Bright Eyes. He said, there are 2 things that you can do with this. You can have a screaming eagle, or you can have this Grim Reaper.
And does the Grim Reaper mean anything to you? Is there anything like...
It means I don't have a screaming eagle tattooed on my arm. I made a little joke, and I said, well, maybe I'll look like less of a wimp with this. And he said, nah, you'll just look like a wimp with the tattoo. The other tattoo I got, which was a little spider up on my shoulder here, I did get that removed back in the 80s, when what they did was peel skin, in this case off the inside of my elbow, and peel the tattoo off and sew the skin on there. So I have to this day, a pretty noticeable kind of peanut-shaped scar up there. I keep them covered for the most part. I thought it would be something that, boiling it down, that would make me more interesting. It was a little attention-getting device. It had no significance, nothing Freudian. Even the Grim Reaper, which a psychiatrist once asked the same question, by the way.